Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm looking at the new Astra Site Builder. This is a feature of Astra Pro. It's just been released, and I'm excited to see it. Other top-tier themes like Cadence and Generate Press have had this kind of functionality for a while now, and Astra has been behind. However, Brainstorm Force, the team behind the Astra theme, has this year been releasing a lot of new products and a lot of product updates. And now Astra is catching up and in many ways getting ahead of the competition. Now Astra has a lot of new features, and I'm just focusing on this one, the site building feature. I'm going to do a walkthrough and show how it works. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about where I see Astra fitting in the Brainstorm Force ecosystem, as well as in relation to other top-tier themes. So here I am on a test site. I have the latest version of the Astra Pro theme installed. I want to go back to the plugin directory and show you what I have installed. I have advanced custom fields here, which I use to create a custom post type called books. We'll look at this a little bit more in just a minute. I also have the Astra Pro plugin installed, and then I have this free Spectra Gutenberg Blocks plugin installed, as well as the Pro version of Spectra installed. Okay, if we go and look at our custom post type, you see here it shows the post title and the post content. Over here it has our custom taxonomy called genres. And then here is the featured image. These fields, the post title, the post content, the featured image, the excerpt, for instance, these are all standard fields. They're the same fields we see if we look at a regular post. We see those same fields here. Then down here we have custom fields, and we have a URL field for a link to the author's website. We have an image field for a picture of the author. If we go to the front end of the site and go look at our custom post type, we can see here is the default archive. Obviously, the images don't look good because they're different sizes, and we don't see any custom fields here. If we look at a record, a single record, we see that the featured image doesn't look right, and we see the standard fields of WordPress, the featured image, the title, the content, the author, the date, but again, we don't see any custom fields. So we want to create our own templates for the single so that we can see custom fields and we can make it look more attractive, and for the archive where we can fix this problem with the images not looking good and perhaps add a custom field to the archive as well. Okay, so if we go back now to the Astra dashboard, I have the Pro installed, and you see under Pro modules, Site Builder here. Okay, I've got that turned on. And when you turn it on, you get this menu item here. And you can see you can edit the header, the footer, hook locations. So this allows you to insert your template into specific places on a page. Inside a poster page, single template, archive template, or 404 page for when content's not found. Because you have all these options here, you can basically create your templates for any part of the site. So that's why they call it a site builder. And these two options, the single and the archive, they're new. That's what's just been added to Astra. Okay, so we're going to create a single and archive template for our book's custom post type. When you go in, you get this place to give it a title. And this title here does not show on the front end. That is so we can find it in the list here. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. Okay, and now if we look at the list of blocks available, these are all Spectra free blocks that come with Spectra free. These are the Pro blocks, and we're going to use this loop builder. And then we have core WordPress blocks. I wanted to show you that the Astra team has included these core blocks for creating templates. A while ago, the WordPress core team removed these, so they're only visible in the site editor. But the Brainstorm Force team has added them in to the site builder here so that you can use them if you need or want to. Okay, but let's go back up. And what I'm going to add first is I'm going to add a container. Okay, and the reason I'm adding a container is because it gives us the ability to add a margin at the top and bottom. I'm going to remove that block. Now in here I will add our loop builder. This is the Spectra Pro block. So we have an option for portrait layout, landscape layout, a box layout, or to create our own layout. I'm going to use a landscape option. Okay, and what you see here is that it's pulled in for display while we're working on the template, a post at random. If we go down and look at the blocks here, there are a couple of things I wanted to point out. First off, I highlight the container and it highlights the first record. Any changes we make to the first record then are repeated in the other records in the archive. Okay, so if we add some blocks or change the order of blocks or something, those will all get repeated down there. So we're working actually on this first block. Now, another thing I wanted to show you is that the loop builder, it's using the Spectra blocks, other blocks. And so having these nested blocks or inner blocks here is a good feature because this gives us a lot of flexibility because we can move things around and add blocks to this loop if we want to. If you just add a posts block from mini block collections, they won't allow this. Now, we're building the archive for books, so a post preview doesn't help us. Now over here, this is the block settings, the page and block settings. This is the site builder settings. Okay, I'm just going to run through the rest of these. Here we see Zip AI Assistant. So here's a new feature. Then this is Spectra block settings. And this gives you the ability to add some custom CSS to the archive. But what we want is the site builder settings. Now, we're building a custom template. It knows that it's an archive, but we need to tell it that it's an archive not for a special page or for posts, but for books. Okay, now there are other display conditions here. We can choose to exclude certain items, and there are also options here for users, for logged in, logged out, or all, and user roles. So if you have like a membership site or something, then that would be convenient. Okay, but I'm going to save our selection. Then down here, you can set visibility options by device size. And there are options for date and time conditions. Okay, like if there was a holiday or some special event. Okay, so we don't need that. It's giving us the option to choose a record that will be used for our preview. So I'm going to clear this post out and we'll look for that book record. And I'm going to click Apply and Reload. Awesome. So I'm going to go back to our view here. I like to be able to see what we're doing here. Okay, now one of the things I want to do, we have the author's photo, and I want to add the author's photo underneath the featured image. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add another block. We'll add it before, and this block is going to be another container. Okay, and you see this is kind of awkward here. The way that's laid that out, that's because it's not in order as we want it. I'm going to move it under here, and then I'm going to put the featured image inside of it. Okay, so now that we have the featured image inside our container, we can add another image. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to do add before, and I'm going to add an image, a Spectra image block. Okay, and I'm going to move this underneath the featured image. Over here on the settings, you see this database icon. So we can pull in the dynamic data, the custom field. So we want current post. We want a post custom field, and now we want the author's photo. So you go down here and there's something you want to do, and that's you have to click this apply button. Awesome, it's pulled in the author's photo. Now I want to center this in the column, and I want to set the size to be 75 pixels. It's a square, so 75 by 75. I'm going to set this image to also be centered. And remember, we had the problem that the featured images, the book covers, are different sizes. So let's set the size of that. We'll try a width of 180 and a height of 260. Now the next thing we see here, our containers are 50-50 by default, but we don't need that much room for the images. Let's go to the first container. We go and we look at the width for the container, and it says custom width, and I'm going to set it to be, let's try 25%. So that looks great. Now for the second container, it automatically adjusted just to be sure. I'm going to set it here also, so it'll be 75%. Okay, so we're looking pretty good on the archive. Remember I said we want to add some margin to the top or bottom. So I'm going to go to the top container, and let's go to spacing, and we'll add top spacing of 60 pixels and bottom spacing of 60 pixels. And now for the individual records here also, let's add a little margin at the bottom for those. Okay, and I think we could add maybe just a light background color of some sort. So let's start with this color, and then we'll change it. I'm not going to win any style awards here. All right, I'm going to click update, and let's go to the front end and let's see how it looks. So we go to the book archive. It's not showing the books. Okay, so let's look at the other settings of the loop builder. Okay, I'm going to come up here, post per page, post offset, and the order. If we go to content, so we need to set the post type here for the loop builder. You might be wondering, even though we've set the page to be the book archive, you could actually put some other kind of content on the page. It doesn't have to be books, using the loop builder here by setting the post type. So it has that flexibility, but that also means we need to set it here. Go down and look at the last record. We don't see any pagination, but on the toolbar for the loop builder, here is where you add pagination. All right, so I think we're probably good now. Let's save. Then we'll go to the front end. Let's go to books. Awesome. Okay, here's our book archive, and let's try going to another page. Good. So that looks fine. We can give it a title, like book reviews or something if we wanted to. But here we have our archive. We were able to create a custom layout, and we were also able to add a custom field. I just want to point out that this is actually an advanced feature. Some theme builders and site builders, like Divi for instance, don't give you the option to add custom fields into the archive. Okay, so now let's go back. Okay, and let's go to the site builder again. And this time, let's create a single. I'll do the same thing again. I'm going to give it the internal name and publish it. And I'm going to add a container. This time I'll choose a 2-column container. Okay, at the top of the container, I'm going to give it some margin so we have a little space from the header. The same at the bottom. Okay, then here we will add our image, and we'll go to the dynamic data. So this looks familiar, and we choose featured image. We click apply. Remember here we're seeing a post. So I'm just going to save this, Remember, we need to go and tell Astra what this is a single template for. So let's go to display conditions and say all books. Okay, and then I'll change the preview again. Okay, here we have the featured image. Over here, we'll add the Spectra heading block and we'll show the post title. Okay, I click apply. All right, now this should be at the top. So we'll go back to our container here. So I'll go to the container here and let's go to Flex Properties. And we want the items aligned top. Okay, great. Now let's add our post content. That's a core block. Whoops, let's put it inside there. And now let's center this one. Okay, and let's add another image block. And we're going to go to dynamic data and we're going to choose post custom field. And our custom fields aren't showing here. So here we find something missing. This is the first version. In the archive, it gave us the custom field names, but here we're going to need to enter the name manually. Okay, so our custom field name, let's go look at them at the field groups. So this is author photo. ACF gives us the option to copy the field name. Okay, let's go back here and paste that in. All right, and let's click apply. It's not showing it here, unfortunately, but we'll do center also, and we'll give it the width and height. Let's just update this now, and let's go to the front end. Let's just pick one. We'll go and look. So it is showing here, even though it doesn't show in the editor. So this is looking pretty good. Let's go back and let's add in the button now, the link to the author's website, the other custom field. So I'll click and add button, and we'll say visit author website. We'll center it. This button is pretty big. Let's go to our style. Let's make the text a little smaller. Let's see, this is not looking centered there though. Try again. There we go. All right, and now we need to set the link to the custom field. So let's go to content. Here's the link, and here's the database icon. So current post custom field. Okay, and again, it's not showing our field in the list. So I will add the custom field here. Let's go back to our field group. Here's author's website. I'll copy that link and we'll paste it in. And I'll click apply and update. And we'll go back to the front end, see if this works. Awesome, we went to the author's website. So everything's working there. It's pretty easy. One more thing maybe we can try. Let's try adding in the post meta, a row here with the author's name and the date that it was published. So I'm going to go back here to the editor, and under the post title, let's add a new block, and I'm going to add a container. Okay, and in this container, I'm going to add a heading, and then under that, I'm going to add another heading, and then under that, I'm going to add a third heading. Spectra uses the heading block for headings, HTML headings, and for paragraphs and text. So if you need dynamic data for like a text item, you would choose heading. I'm going to go here. We've got the option to choose the tag. So I'm going to choose a div for each of these. And in the top one, we'll say by And then we'll add the author's name. Okay, for the second one, we'll say on, and we'll pick the post date. And for the third one, we'll say in, and we will pick the genre. All right, so here we have the author's name, the date it was published, and the category or taxonomy. Now let's set these to go in a row. So I'm going to go to the flex properties for here we're on the container, and I'll set it to be a row. So that's pretty good. It's going across. I see it says equal. So let's set it to auto and see what happens. Okay, good. Set it to flex start and update. Okay, now let's go to the front end again and refresh. Awesome. All right, so that's our single bulk template for custom post type created using the new Astra Pro Site Builder. So now that we've done the walkthrough portion, let's have some discussion and conclusions. Let's begin by talking about what didn't work and what did work. The Astra Site Builder is new, and all in all, it is very polished for version 1. The only glitch was that the ACF custom fields didn't show in the dynamic data field list when creating the single template. It wasn't a showstopper, as we're able to manually add the custom field name, and that worked, though the image preview didn't show. All of that worked in the archive context, so this was probably just an oversight. Everything else worked as expected, and the main user interface for the site builder looks similar to what's found in Elementor Pro, so users won't have any trouble navigating it. A highlight of my experience was the Spectra Pro Loop Builder block. It's a special and advanced block. WordPress core has a query loop block, but it's pretty clunky to use. The Spectra version has many more features and is more flexible. As mentioned in the video, the Astra team also included the core set of theme blocks used in template building. If you're not using custom fields, then you could just use core blocks without Spectra. However, using the Spectra blocks greatly enhances the experience. In terms of site building features, it seems that Astra Pro has now caught up to the other advanced themes. Let's zoom out a bit and talk about this in the wider context. Earlier this year, Brainstorm Force, the makers of Astra, released the Spectra 1 theme. Spectra 1 is a new type of block-based theme. Block themes allow you to use the core WordPress site builder called the Site Editor. It speaks the confidence and ability of Brainstorm Force that they were not afraid to offer an alternative to Astra, which is the #1 WordPress theme. Seems the vision here is they want to meet you where you work, no matter what tools you pick. Astra works with Gutenberg, Elementor, and Beaver Builder. Spectra 1 works in the new Site Editor. And Brainstorm Force provides not only the themes for those contexts, but also top-tier builder add-ons. This year has seen a boatload of updates and new product releases from this team. SureCart for e-commerce, Sure Members for membership sites, and Sure Triggers for automation and connecting processes. There have also been updates to the free Spectra blocks and the release of Spectra Blocks Pro. As mentioned, the new Spectra 1 block-based theme was released this year. There have been several releases of Astra and Astra Pro, including now their site builder. There is the investment with the Late Point Booking plugin. Further, they have released ZipWP, an AI website builder platform that produces a starter site to your specifications in just minutes. Site builders can purchase and use Astra and Spectra, knowing that they are as good or better than other similar offerings, and also know that these tools are part of a larger WordPress ecosystem. It's good to see all of this innovation. So this is my walkthrough and review of the new Astra Pro Site Builder. There's a text summary of the video available on the WebTNG website, along with other walkthroughs, reviews, and resources. I hope you found the video useful and interesting, If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.